All right. Hello, everyone. A question that is asked often in debates, with no definitive rule and clear answer, by the way, is how much should one spend on the material in order to determine for sure that they have done enough? In other words, do I really have to prove everything in a speech because of the possibility that it could be contested by the other side? Isn't it a safer strategy to just have some explanation and proof for everything that I'm going to say in my speech? Because at minimum, it would at least guarantee that you have all your bases covered. Now, this is a relevant question because we only have 7 minutes in a speech. And especially if you were an opening team, the debate can change substantially towards the closing half and even target aspects that you did not spend as much time focusing on in your own speeches. So, as is the case in many sports that involve a lot of uncertainty, one position that people may take is just to play it safe and prove everything as if it were a game theory optimal strategy to avoid losing, which just means that at least you can guarantee a safe second in this round as opposed to a more exploitative strategy, which is inherently more risky because it opens yourself up to a lot more problems that I mentioned earlier, where you can lose and simply get a fourth if you didn't cover your bases enough. Now, in this video, what I want to then do is to just reframe this question and show two examples where playing safe can be a little bit too risky. Let's say the motion was, this house supports the integration of AI into the criminal justice system, and you were opening government. Now, it should be evident that there is an incredibly insane amount of material that you may have to parse through in order to prove any effective claim in this debate. For example, if you were to want to demonstrate that AI reduces the risk of human error and bias, then there's a logical dependency in the succeeding claims that you will need to make. First, that there is such a thing as human error and bias in the criminal justice system, which involves a principled explanation and defense of what is right and wrong in the justice system in the first place. Second, that this human error cannot be mitigated by other alternative reforms, and that this human error is a big enough problem to merit replacing human elements in the justice system. And third, that AI will be developed very well and adopted well in these institutions, involving discussions on innovation and training from the perspective of states and companies, which eventually connects itself with discussions on support from public and some defense of the viability and the long-run optics of AI. And fourth, that the impact of reducing human error is a good thing for the ends of the criminal justice system, which is to say that implicitly, you're proving that strengthening the criminal justice system at all, in terms of the end goals of the state, is a good and morally justified thing to do as well. Now, all of this, right, all of the things that we're trying to prove here, all the things that we need to prove, rather, is for simply one argument, one point on reducing human bias and error. Now, a safe strategy would be to meaningfully explain each and every one of these segments of analysis, because it is completely possible that opposition can contest the ends of the criminal justice system as they are wrong, and that sometimes human error and bias is good in the justice system. They can also contest that the AI will be developed in a bad way, and that tech companies will hijack the criminal justice system instead, which is again another part that you tried to tackle. And adopting a safe strategy then only serves to dilute and reduce your analysis potential. Because if opposition dedicates a significant portion of time on one angle of the clash, then they did not necessarily need to respond to the other parts that you attempted to prove to be important in the first place. In fact, more often than not, it is in their interest to agree with you on some of these claims, or even a lot of these claims. Like, they can agree that the tech will be developed extremely well, and they can make some argument that the accelerated replacement of humans in the justice system will reduce trust and participation in these systems in the future. In response to this, a safe strategy clearly is more self-defeating than it isn't, and it overburdens your teammate in substantial ways because you could have committed to one line of analysis much more instead. So since we've just said that a safe strategy is not as optimal as we think it is because of the limited nature of our speeches, the next logical question is to then succumb to asking, so should I just fully risk and commit to a line of analysis instead? And the short answer I have is yes. don't be afraid to double down in explaining that one particular aspect of the debate is more important than other things. Because in my opinion, and this is what I want you to understand in this video, this actually opens up more potential lines of analysis that would eventually connect to the other aspects of the debate that we talked about. So for example, if in the earlier debate you took a strategy to fixate on proving why the elimination of human error is morally relevant, that it exists to diminish and weaken the justice system structurally because of its possibility, then it later becomes easier for you to prove that the technology can address this problem, that people will support this later on, and that the ends of the justice system are promoted once you reduce this human error. So in my opinion, in most cases, this is actually much more efficient because now, when you see the case of the other side, your teammate has a very deep case that they can leverage to attack the other side's clash much more. Because in the example I just gave you, proving that the elimination of human error is morally relevant already provides the analysis opportunity for everything else to be proven in the process of proving the first thing that you were explaining anyways. So it's more efficient, and it also serves the purpose of giving your teammate the opportunity to utilize the parts that they would need to respond to later on when they're responding against the eventual clash that opposition will present. So I think most people should try and explore full commitment whenever they're making their arguments in having hard line and direct lines of attack that take risks and don't always play extremely safe. It opens up more opportunities for you and your teammate, and it makes debates much more engaging than they otherwise would have been. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thank you everyone for watching and have a great day.